Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Ramadan Mubarak, and this is this is a reminder about something which is really important for us to focus on. The whole concept of the Deen and us getting close to Allah Azza wa Jalla is this thing called mindfulness. Okay, now it's a big concept that has come about, and a lot of the psychological departments over the last 2 years are focusing on mindfulness. Now, it's not something which we're not aware of in Islam. We've had this in the beginning of Islam. And the whole point of mindfulness is that you take your mind and you submerge it into something which you really concentrate on. So anything you do, basically, they say you're supposed to put your concentration in it, and you're supposed to think that I'm fully in what I am. So whether it's going to be a meeting or something you're having, whether it's a project or whether it's some development you're doing, your health or whatever it is, they're using mindfulness to make sure that your mind is completely where it's supposed to be, that you're focusing 100% on what you're doing. And what it does is that it makes a person a lot more a lot more productive. You become more effective over time, because you're not just doing something, you're actually doing it with full concentration, which makes you do it with an excellent way. So let's say, for example, if somebody was driving, and you had a mindfulness driving, what that would mean is that they put their hands on the steering wheel, they look exactly where they're going, they look at the mirror, each of the moments that they're supposed to look in the mirror. They look what's behind them, what's on the side of them, they look at the blind spot, they are fully focusing on the road, on the maximum miles per hour on that road. They're focusing on the awareness, maybe the where they're going, maybe something that's coming ahead. Now this is all mindfulness. Let's say there's 200 yards ahead or 400 yards ahead, there's something happening there. Maybe it's a car stopped at the side, so they're preparing themselves for it. So this is mindfulness. They're not engaged in anything else at that time except just driving and really concentrating where they are. So that kind of driver will not only do well in where how they're driving, but they will actually they'll actually be a very good driver for all the other drivers around. And that kind of driver will most likely not make any mistakes in driving, and there wouldn't be any sort of accidents. Now, what Allah Azza wa Jalla is trying to do with us in this deen, and what this whole deen is about, is, if you look at any part of our religion, whether it's tilawah of the Quran, whether it's dhikr, whether it's salah, whether it's hajj, whether it's fasting, there's a mindfulness about it. And if you look at the opening ayats of fasting in the Quran, which is Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, ayah number 183, it says that fasting has been prescribed لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may acquire this thing which is taqwa. And this whole thing of taqwa, what it is that you're so mindful of Allah Azza wa Jal, you become so mindful of Him, you think that He's watching you, so deeply you think of this, that you can't, you find it very difficult to sin. That's the whole point of taqwa. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal wanted us to do in Ramadan. So you think about the whole of Ramadan that is going by. There's actually two prescriptions that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given. One is to stay away from food, eating and drinking, and relationship with one's spouse during the daytime. But the other thing, these are the don'ts in Ramadan. The do's in Ramadan is this taqwa thing. The do is the things that we're supposed to do, and the second part of our great prescription for Ramadan is Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us that we've got to increase the amount of awareness we have of Him. That's what Ramadan is about. Now, most Muslims only practice the first part, and they don't practice the second part. They only stay away from eating, drinking, smoking and relationship with one's spouse during the daytime. They only stay away from that, but they don't do the second thing, which is which is more important, which is we're supposed to make this mind feel all the time that we are, we are thinking of Allah Azza wa Jalla, we are concentrating on the fact that, being focused. Like, so for example, if I'm in my salah, if you bring mindfulness, then you're in your salah, you're thinking of where you are, you're thinking of who you're standing in front of, what this salah is about. It's about presenting it on the day of judgment. It's about my ibadah, my worship for Allah. It's about Allah Azza wa Jal seeing me right now, how much I am thinking of Him, so that He can think of me in a very good way. So the Quran says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. You remember me and I will remember you. So in salah, if I'm remembering Allah, then Allah will remember me, meaning that Allah will guide me, Allah will give me rahmah, Allah will, give me blessings, Allah will treat me in a special way. That's what adhkurkum means. That's what it means by Allah remembering me. Otherwise, Allah remembers everybody. We all know that. But for Allah Azza wa Jal to remember me back after I remember Him means that He will give me some special favors. And that's what I'm after. Okay? So mindfulness in salah is to actually be there focused. And mindfulness in tilawah, let's say for example, if you're reading the Quran, to actually be engrossed in what you're reading. To be, let's say for example, واذكر في الكتاب مريم إذ انتبذت من أهلها مكانا شرقيا فاتخذت من دونهم حجابا فأرسلنا إليها روحنا فتمثل لها بشرا سويا. So mindfulness here would be that I've read those ayats, I take the Quran translation or something, a little bit tafsir on the side, and I read about Maryam alayhi salam or radiyallahu anha. She should be remembered in the book, Allah says. And she moved away from her people. She was a very pious individual. She moved away, and we sent to her our spirit, or we sent to her our great angel, which is Jibreel alayhi salatu salam. Now, mindfulness is to take your mind to that time, to Maryam, alayhi salam, who's so pious, such a remarkable woman, and how much ibadah she did and how deep she got into her ibadah, and that she just wanted to be left alone with Allah Azza wa Jal. And then all of a sudden a big test comes, that she gets sent this archangel, Jibreel alayhi salam, and Jibreel alayhi salam says to her, before when he appears in front of her as a man, she says, قالت إني أعوذ بالرحمن منك إن كنت تقيا. Now here she's saying to Jibreel that I am seeking refuge in the Rahman from you if you have any taqwa. If you're mindful of God as well, then I'm asking you to be aware of this. Why are you appearing like this as a man in front of me, as a woman who's never ever been with a man, who's never touched a man, who's never had any relationships with a man? So you can see what's happening is that your mind should be thinking, wow, this is a moment of history, and how do I, a moment of history of taqwa, of mindfulness, of her trying to show her closeness to Allah. Then Allah is testing her with a man in front of her. She doesn't know what's about to happen. Obviously, Jibreel alayhi salam comes to blow in her the ruh, and he just blows on her chest, and then she conceives a baby. And that is Isa alayhi salam. Now, there's a lot of lessons for us to just sit there, think, wow, how much of a test would he have been on Maryam alayhi salam, where she later on in there, she says, kuntu nasiyan mansiya. When she was conceiving the baby, when she was pregnant, she actually said, woe, if I had become nasiyan, if I had become something which I was forgotten, and mansiya, I was completely erased from people's minds, that people never knew even I existed. Okay, so I was reading these ayats, funny enough, last night, and just to sit there and to reflect on the verses and think, wow, and to think how Allah Azza wa Jal tested it. Look, all of it is us connecting with Allah Azza wa Jal. Mindfulness is that you sit there and you would just sit there and just really with your heart, be where you are. Sit at the night time. Sit on your musalla, after maybe tarawih, whenever you want, maybe a suhoor time, and you just be mindful of the fact that you want Allah to forgive you. So astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa hu al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. So again, you're engrossing yourself in trying to yearn for the forgiveness of Allah Azza wa Jal. But you're there, your mind is there, you're asking Him. You're saying, I seek forgiveness from the one, there is no other God besides Him, illa hu, except Him, al-hayyul qayyum, the one who is ever living, the one who's ever sustains everything. He's going to live forever and forever. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ, and there is nothing that will give me strength or turn me away from sin, or give me strength to do good deeds, except for Allah Azza wa Jal, who is the Most High and who is the Great. So again, engrossing yourself, mindfulness, okay, engrossing yourself. Astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa hu al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Okay, so whether it's dhikr, tilawa, salah, and so on, you want to engross your mind and have it there present. That's what mindfulness is about, and that's what Ramadan is about, because the whole Ramadan from beginning to end is going to be gone. But Allah said the purpose of you staying away from food and drink and not being occupied by all of that is because I want you to do the most important thing, which is engross your mind in just thinking about me and being present with me, so much so that inshallah, in Ramadan it's going to be easy for us to stay away from sins, because the great devils are locked up, Jahannam is closed and so on. Allah's made it easy for us in Ramadan. But after Ramadan is the big question. Where are we going to be after Ramadan? So right now, think about how many times can I make myself think about Allah, so engrossed, all the time throughout the day. Just think Allah is watching me. Like every time you want to have food or drink, even then you're thinking about Allah, because you're thinking, I can't eat, I can't drink because Allah is watching me. That's mindfulness as well. So to take the mind in and absorb it all the time, night and day, and think about, Allah Azza wa Jal is the purpose of Ramadan. Now, in the link of this video, I put the link to, we're still raising monies for the app that we've launched. And inshallah bi'idhnillah, those of you who've donated, jazakumullah khair. Those of you who still can donate, please do so. We want to get to our target. Check the link out, please just press it and donate wherever you can. The app has been released, so visit safarpublications.org and you will see the app there. It's a wonderful app with many du'as that you need to learn. A lot of people need to learn their own ways of how to do salah, how to do the pronunciation with tajweed, adults and children. Okay, you can use this for adults and children. A brilliant way of connecting up with Allah Azza wa Jalla and with the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So I'll leave you with that inshallah, and I'll try and give whatever reminders I can inshallah in Ramadan, throughout Ramadan. Make dua for us inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.